This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic. And Johnny, we are back after a little siesta last week. First off, I will say, it was because had a little scare with Johnny's health. I hope you're doing better. You're obviously doing better because we're back here in the studio. And when I say a little scare with health, nothing super, dramatic that we don't have to worry about, but Johnny having a little pain in the foot last week that he wasn't able to come in. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're feeling better. Almost missed today because now you've got something in your eye. Last night when we saw Men in Black, you had something in your eye.
Yeah, it fucking worked, man.
Johnny's like, if it's not one thing, it's another thing, man.
I mean, you got this that was worrying you last night when you first saw it.
And show that to the camera really quick. You don't have to get out. You can just kind of do one of these, but
I don't know if they can see it from here.
It looked like a freaking stab wound that Johnny had. Johnny's like, I just scratched my arm on a fence.
Yeah, no, since we're not eating now, I can tell you how it happened.
Tell me and never did.
We use this thing that's a walk behind skeg. It's a self-propelled mower. It's got a deck that's probably 4 foot wide.
Yeah.
Well, I take a turn and there's a gate that's open. There's a little latch.
It's like a chain link gate.
Yeah, it's actually an automatic gate. But you know how a lot of them have this U shape so the gate itself can go into it? Mm-hmm. Well, I took a sharp turn, caught my arm across it, and then the thing dragged across. Oh. Actually, it was really funny, and this will gross you out. They get to see you twitch now. I look at the gate, and there's skin and hair on the gate.
Oh, so it basically took a little bit with you.
Yeah, it took a little bit a little bit from me.
That wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. When we're eating and you're like, well, I don't want to upset your stomach.
I know how squeamish you can be.
You know what? With certain things, vomit, body fluids, poop, usually I get a little gaggy because I'm the type of person I put myself in the situation. So when we're talking about that stuff,
but the funny part
I start smelling it and thinking of it.
The funny part is usually it's me talking about stuff I've already been through.
Yeah. Johnny's actually been through it. I'm putting myself in the situation. But welcome to the Rick and Johnny podcast. You're probably thinking, what the hell is this podcast?
The fuck did I just walk into?
This is the best open that I think we had in a while. We talk about everything superheroes, movie, nerd stuff, basically everything under the two
apparently also
sons.
Health and incidents.
Well, we like talking about our daily lives here at MVP.
Gives them an insight of what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, basically.
But why are you the way you are?
Today, though, we got a jam-packed show. Kind of taking a topic that we were going to talk about last week, bringing it into this one. DC is not going to be at Hall H this year, San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to look at it's going to be a jam-packed topic, too, because we're going to talk about this is a smart move for Warner Brothers. We're going to talk about the details about their WarnerMedia streaming service, and I'm going to throw in their details that we might have gotten about the Batman movie when it comes to those villains. So that's going to be a real jam-packed one. Then we're basically going to do our Dark Phoenix movie review.
Without doing a movie review?
That we didn't do one last week, so we're going to talk about why X-Men Dark Phoenix was so bad. Is Johnny getting blown up on the Facebooks over there? And then we'll end the podcast looking at Marvel's Avenger from E3. If you haven't already, go and check out Dave and I did a full recap and reactions from E3. But Johnny and I are going to talk about Marvel's Avengers. I'm going to get Johnny's take on what he thought of everything, the trailer and the gameplay that we saw, or the scene that we saw. And then we're going to talk about should the devs change the character design because they're kind of getting some flack over that. But before we get into everything, make sure to check us out, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is how you can help support us. Be like all our great patrons, and for lows of $1, you can get access to our Discord server, talk with us, and the patrons of MVP, and also get the MVP podcast a month before everyone else. The new one will be coming up soon. A blast from the past one that I am very, very, very excited about. But Johnny, let's jump into this first topic. San Diego Comic-Con is almost upon us as we are right about a month away from the con. It's taking place July 18th to the 21st. Usually where nerds come together for everything. Marvel's usually there. We've had Game of Thrones announcements there. DC and Warner Brothers have had some announcements there. Well, just like we had with E3 earlier this year with Sony kind of saying, nah, we good. We ain't going to the conference. Warner Brothers taking a page out of Sony's book, it looks like, where Warner Brothers has announced they are not going to have a Hall H panel. This is usually where the studio has announced things like Batman, or they've had big blockbusters like BVS, Aquaman, Ready Player One, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. That's where they've had these presentations for those blockbusters. I want to ask you, first off, what do you think is the mindset behind Warner Brothers doing this? And is it a smart move for them not to go to San Diego Comic-Con and have a Hall H presentation?
I mean, Hall H is supposed to be like the big thing each year, the big place each year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess if you don't have a lot to announce, maybe it's a good idea to not go, honestly. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have probably a few movies that come out, but I mean, the biggest thing would be Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And maybe with like what it seems like everything we're going to be talking about is up in the air. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a good idea to not go and not have a Hall H presentation that year.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing I'm thinking about with that is I'm kind of on the same side. Well, first off, I was like, I'm very like disappointed because I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
I love getting hyped for San Diego Comic-Con. It's usually a big month for our podcast because it gives us a ton of things to...
A lot of stuff to talk
about. But there's at the same time, it's like, okay, what do you realistically have coming up? And I actually was looking at the upcoming movies. Here's what we have on the kind of docket for Warner Brothers. So the big ones is... I will say, they did say that they will have It Chapter 2 stuff for E3, just not a big Hall H presentation, but it's like you have It Chapter 2 coming out later this year. The Joker comes out later this year. I'm trying to look for other movies that are like another DC one, Birds of Prey. Godzilla vs. Kong is set for March 13th, 2020. A Barbie movie. Wow. Wonder Woman 1984. You've got movies like The Conjuring 3. You've got Dune. You've got a Sesame Street movie, a Mortal Kombat movie, The Batman, Space Jam 2, Akira, which is based off the anime that I believe Taka Waititi is directing that one. And then obviously The Suicide Squad in 2021, along with another Fantastic Beasts movie and Sherlock Holmes 3. And the 2021 movies, it's interesting because it's like, okay, that might be too far into the future.
Yeah.
Part of me just feels if I go, because first off with Joker, I feel like they've showed us enough of it.
We don't need any presentation about it, really.
Especially like It Chapter 2, like that one's different because we just saw the first trailer not that long ago. It was like a week or two ago, and it was kind of like a teaser trailer kind of a thing where it's like we see her with the old lady, they kind of tease it's It Chapter 2, and then they show like some cuts with the It music before Pennywise comes out and does his creepy thing that he did from the first one. Joker, though, we've seen that footage. The other movies for 2020, though, and this is the entire slate that they have planned right now, Just Mercy, Birds of Prey, Godzilla vs. Kong, Barbie, Scoob, Wonder Woman 1984, In the Heights, Trent, The Conjuring 3, The Many Sins of Newark, The Witches, Dune, and then that's it, because Sesame Street is planned for January of 2021. Is that basically the whole reason why you think that they're skipping Hall H? Is that their kind of plan is like, okay, we don't have a lot of DC stuff coming out. We don't have that schedule to go with. The Batman and the Suicide Squad would be our big things, but those are still in development with Matt Reeves and James Gunn kind of planning those.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it is probably, they don't have a lot of the DC stuff to go off of. I mean, when did you say Wonder Woman is supposed to come out? That's 2021?
That's going to be June of 2020.
Okay, so I mean, there would be maybe that, but maybe they don't have just like they held off the Aquaman trailer for so long. Maybe it's like, the stuff we would want to present in the DC universe, not really ready to go. Yeah, and maybe the trailers that would matter aren't ready to go necessarily. So it'd be like, okay, we don't have enough and overall, I'm saying they probably don't have enough content to bring with for a Hall H panel.
And actually, when you say that, I'm going to pull up the exact quote. Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman 1984, she actually came out. Let me see. I'm trying to find the article that I read, but she came out because recently they showed off Wonder Woman's new gold armor in a picture.
Oh, nice.
And she sent out a tweet that was like, oh, here it is. Can't wait for Wonder Woman. It was, I heard we're not going to be at Hall H, and that saddens me. But don't be sad. They will, their big push to promote that movie is set to start in December. So probably what you were saying, more of that Aquaman thing. If it's hey, we could start making the push in July, but do we have enough to make that push and keep that excitement all the way up in June? Or do we start that push around Christmas, around Star Wars? Well, that's Disney, not DC. But around that time, when
still,
Star Wars is
Star Wars
out,
would come out, and then the trailer comes out during the Star Wars.
Yeah. Would
movie.
That be hey, if we start pushing in December, we can keep that hype and excitement up until June to where it won't die off? That's why, to me,
don't
want to
start too early. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing of if you did do a Hall H, the DC would be the heavy hitter, and Wonder Woman would be way too far out to start that whole push. You're not going to drop a trailer for that.
Yeah, exactly.
At Comic-Con. And like I said, a movie like The Joker, that would be your one.
Well, we've had
fall.
we've had 2 trailers out already, haven't we?
We've had 2 trailers out, and plus that's a movie where you don't want to give too much.
No.
That one, want to come in with more questions than answers before
I'd say if we only had 1 trailer, and then they were going to drop the second trailer there, and then talk about it there, because then it's content that it could be closed off where no one can film it.
Or if they had news about, hey, we're going to do a Hall H because we're also going to kind of let you know what's going on with DC movies in the future. But even that, we kind of know what's going on. They have a Batman movie they're developing. They've got Suicide Squad developing. And there's just not many. I'm taking it as, hey, there's not many updates here.
Not enough for them to come and talk about.
So we're not going to waste your time and have you be either whelmed or underwhelmed from it.
Wait for it's basically we're not going to waste your time. We're not going to waste our time and money, and we're not going to waste your money by having not much of a panel to talk about with you guys.
Here's part 2 of this conversation.
I'm pretty sure they have to pay to present.
Yes, and here's the thing I want to kind of bring into this, because this is something I don't know if you would use a Hall H for this.
Okay,
but I would feel this is the biggest thing they have going on right now, and if they were going to drop this at the end of the year, then maybe this would be your big Hall H thing. But apparently, according to, and I want to see if there's a different source that they put in there. Okay. I'm going to read this straight from the Screen Rant article that I have. Basically, the Wall Street Journal, citing sources that have personal knowledge of the matter, this being WarnerMedia and their whole streaming service, some interesting tidbits about AT&T's WarnerMedia's subscription video on-demand service, including its pricing, which will likely be around $16 to $17 a month. That would include an HBO and its sister company Cinemax bundle alongside the vast Warner Brothers TV and movie library. No word yet for the official name of the WarnerMedia streaming service, but it's expected to make its beta form debut in the fourth quarter of this year. The cost is significantly higher than the competitors like Netflix, which is at $13, Showtime, which is at $11, and Hulu, which is between $6 to $12. It's also double the price of Disney Plus's introductory rate at $6.99. Two questions. Number one, that goes into beta, the sources say, end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, first off, would that be enough to be like, hey, we could have used Hall H to give a breakdown of the streaming service, kind of like what Disney did at, I think it was D23, what they did. Their kind of own their own event in Anaheim.
See, that's the difference, though, is that, like, that's their own event. So it's all Disney, everything Disney. So you get this, they got, like, probably separate stuff for Star Wars.
We got stuff, Frozen stuff
stuff. Just everything Disney, and that's their own thing. So, like, they can present whatever they want.
Usually get some Marvel clips.
Most little content as they need to. They'll have enough to fill it. This is kind of different because it's, like,
it's everybody.
It's everyone, everything. And in some way, you're competing with others. So if you just decide if you're just going to, like, drop that stuff, I would say have a smaller panel somewhere. Kind of like when you and I and our friends go to Wizard World.
Yeah.
There's a main stage, and there's bigger panel rooms, and there's smaller panel rooms. Yeah. And those smaller panel rooms don't take up a lot of space. They're not the ones that are going to be, like, they're not the big name ones. They're not the big name things. So it'd be like that. It's like, hey, there's going to be someone coming out to talk about DC, but we're not going to take Hall H to do it. We're going to probably take a smaller panel room. And anyone that wants to know about it, come in and see it.
And I mean, this isn't something. Also, by the way, I think someone might have already put this in the comment section.
Probably.
This isn't, like, unprecedented that this hasn't happened. Like last year, Marvel Studios skipped out on the Hall H.
Yeah.
But that was like, with that was because, Endgame is what we're leading up to, and we know that they're not going to want to give up a lot of secrets.
Going to give hush-hush for that one, yeah.
Like, we knew it was the final push between Infinity War, Captain Marvel, and Endgame.
It could be as simple as that, too. Maybe the things they are working on that they have stuff ready for, they don't want to give away yet. Like you said, especially with the Wonder Woman thing. You got to think... yeah, maybe we want it now, but if we get it now, the hype's going to die out before they actually want to give it up.
And the thing that is, it kind of confuses me. I know this isn't a Warner Brothers thing, but per deadline, a final Hall H appearance for Game of Thrones is nearly certain, as final talks are occurring now. There's no news yet on specific cast members who may appear. Those George R.R. Martin is expected to show up in some way. Martin, of course, wrote the series A Song of Ice and Fire, which has served as a basis for the show. That was probably the only San Diego Comic-Con news that I saw and went, that's interesting. The show's over. Like, unless you have updates on the spin-off series that you're going to want to do.
Updates on the spin-offs. Probably also kind of give fans a final meet.
A final just goodbye to the characters, or the actors and actresses.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to ask you, getting back to WarnerMedia, because that's a big part of this, is now that I asked the Comic-Con question, let's dive into that really quick. What are your thoughts on all the information that it looks like we're getting from the Wall Street Journal about how it's going to be about $16 to $17? You get HBO, Cinemax, and the complete library of Warner Brothers properties, TV, and movies. What are you thinking with it? And is this going to be something that people go, it's pricey, but I'm getting a lot for my buck?
No, it is, because like HBO Go or HBO Now, because I guess there's a difference. is about $14.99 a month. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're for maybe $2 more, throwing it out there just because of tax and shit. Mm-hmm. You're getting HBO, but then you're also getting Cinemax, and you're getting all not Universal. You're getting all the Warner Brothers stuff. That's actually a pretty good deal if you're willing to pay for all that. If you're willing to if you like all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, so the bottom price that they mentioned for Disney Plus was the $6.99.
Yeah.
So annually, it'll be about $70, $69.99. A year.
$70. They might have a deal for a monthly and then yearly too. So
from what we have when they presented was basically $6.99 per month is the low end.
Yeah.
And let's see, did they mention anything about a higher price? No, they didn't mention anything about a higher price. They did mention though that it's gonna you'll have basically Hulu, ESPN Plus kind of bundled in with that with Nat Geo. And I wonder for WarnerMedia if the thing is just going to be, hey, we know the price is high, but we're going to go off of the mindset that we are giving you a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing that I feel like with Disney, it would be easier for them to do that because the Disney properties are so loved. Plus, if you're putting ESPN Plus into that, any sports fan's going to be like, all right. Basically to me, any father would be like, well, I might as well get Disney Plus. My kids will be happy. I'll be happy. We both can use it.
Not to mention being only $7 a month
The big thing is, to me, the HBO.
Yeah.
And the thing is, WarnerMedia has to be like, man, couldn't we have released this a year or two ago? When Game of Thrones was still going on. Unless they're going to hype up, hey, you can get the entire Game of Thrones library on WarnerMedia because it's going to be on HBO. I look at it and I go, is the Warner library enough to pull people in? Because there's also... I actually sent it to Dave and Pete, who has been on our wrestling podcast this week. I'll pull it up. It's from the site you usually send me. We got this covered.
Oh, okay.
And basically in the article, it says, let me pull it up really quick. Sources close to We Got This Covered have informed us that despite the company, WarnerMedia, statement last week about DC Universe is here to stay, Warner Brothers is indeed planning to cancel it in the near future, with the goal being to blend it into the aforementioned central streaming site. As for the shows currently on the platform, we're hearing that Titans is likely safe, with the fate of the rest unknown. And this comes off of the heels of Swamp Thing getting canceled. On that, you've got Young Justice Outsiders, Titans, Doom Patrol have been series they've already put out. They've announced that they're going to do a Stargirl and a Harley Quinn series. And they've got other things announced for that. Do you think that's a smart idea for Warner? Is basically, hey, let's kill off DC Universe and just lump it into WarnerMedia to try to get more people to buy in at that $16 to $17 price.
I mean, I guess at that point you may as well throw all those other shows in there, because then you're actually making it worthwhile to pay the $16.99 a month. Whereas, again, they may eventually want to think about either they have to add every single content they own to it, everything WarnerMedia owns, they're gonna have to add to that just to make it worthwhile, or Disney's gonna kind of blow them out of the water. Because, like you said, you got that factor of, hey, a dad has kids. It's well, I can watch ESPN, and maybe he likes Star Wars or some of the new Marvel movies. Then it's hey, I got shit for the kid, keep the kids occupied, because it's got Pixar, it's got regular Disney, and I think it's supposed to have even the Disney TV shows, right?
Yep, Disney Channel stuff is supposed to be on there
So,
too.
I mean, you're gonna have everything on there. Who knows? They may even throw Disney XD stuff on there, which is from yours, cartoons from yours and my childhood.
Yeah.
makes it more worthwhile for that. Because especially with parents being our age now, get DuckTales, the older DuckTales, Tailspin,
the Marvel Spider-Man series on Disney XD.
Yeah, and I'm talking. I was actually also then that was a different Disney Channel thing I'm thinking about, but still. With that actually plays Tailspin, the old DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, all that other stuff. They still have all that stuff they could add into there. But yeah, then that's the thing is WarnerMedia might want to think about, do we lower our prices? How much can we add to it? And how much are we going to actually get people to come in? Because to me, I mean, and this is just me, myself, I'm kind of getting about to on the verge of getting rid of my HBO now because Game of Thrones is over. That was the big thing I watched from them.
I hear Chernobyl is good, but
I hear that.
Haven't checked it out. Plus, you get to the conversation of Mark and I had where I mentioned it to Mark, and Mark was like, "There's so many freaking streaming services.
Yeah, it's taken over actually."
To where I'm like, Johnny and I, we've had that conversation. You've got Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus.
I think that actually was one of our topics once, wasn't it?
Yeah. But here's the thing I want to last thing with this is, so DC Universe, the price for that is about $8 a month annually. You're paying about, they have the deal where it's like, hey, it's $8 a month, but if you do it annually, it's $75. We'll take that $5 off. That annual charge for you. The thing that I think about though is kind of a two-part question, because you know me, I love two-part questions.
Of course you do.
Part one is, do you think there's a chance that WarnerMedia's streaming service could be too convoluted? And what I mean by that is, yes, I'm getting a lot, but will people sit there and go, hey, am I going to have enough time to watch all of this? The DC stuff, the Warner TV, the Warner movies, HBO. Am I going to have enough time to watch everything that I'm paying for, or am I paying $16 to watch the DC Universe stuff that I was originally only paying $8 a month for? The HBO one's a little bit different, because if you're still looking for the HBO one, that one could be, well, you know what? I'll throw the $2 actually, because I'm paying about that price.
But if you're just
HBO.
DC, you're paying double.
Part two is that, do you think, and this kind of brings Disney into it too, do you think WarnerMedia could have an edge on Hulu and Netflix? Hulu being interesting now because it's mostly owned by Disney now, but especially like a Netflix. Do you see it having the edge over a Netflix? Because Warner could throw a movie up there and not have, or a TV show up there, and necessarily not have to worry about having to take it down because, hey, we came out with that, we own the rights to it. So I could throw it up there forever and not have to worry about, losing the rights after such and such years, whereas Netflix doesn't. And how we get, for example, How I Met Your Mother, no longer on Netflix. This other show, no longer on Netflix, unless it says Netflix original.
See, that's the one thing I'm going to say. Netflix is going to be hit hard with this whole streaming service. I'm going to call it a war. This whole streaming service war that's about to kick in as soon as Disney drops their Disney Plus, that's when it's going to all start to kick off.
I like that you say that because I start thinking the wrestling fan in me comes out and it's like the Monday Night Wars, WCW versus WWE. That's what I think of when you said the streaming wars.
Yeah, no, it's going to be kind of like a streaming war because you have Netflix.
Because you can't buy them all.
You can't, no. You're going to pick yours.
You can't buy them all. Plus, to go off of, and I know this is from the wrestling world, but Triple H, who's the COO of WWE, when he was talking about their streaming service, because they've got one too that has everything that they ever have on it, he said one of the things we combat is not just the price, but fighting for people's time, because there's so much out there now that can suck up your time and you only got a limited amount of it.
Well, let's put it this way. There's Hulu, there's Vudu when you got your own movies. Like I buy DVDs that come with a digital download. So
Amazon
I own them.
Prime.
Amazon Prime. You have Netflix. You have Funimation, Crunchyroll. Just to name 2 anime ones. You have Disney coming out. You have right now. You have the DC one. You have HBO Now / HBO Go. I'm just going to lump them together.
Yep.
And you'll have eventually those 3 will combine and be the WarnerMedia. But then you're also going to, maybe taking like 3 away, 2 away. But then you are going to come back with, you also have ESPN right now, which may be still separated because I don't know what Disney... I don't know what Disney's doing with theirs. If you can,
Disney's going to keep that, I think, because Disney owns ESPN.
No, I'm saying though, are they going to have like, hey, I can just pay for the ESPN still, or is it all going to be Disney Plus? Either way though, it's $6.99. Does it matter?
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's the thing is, you got this whole, and I know there's a lot more out there because I was playing around on my Roku TV, and God Almighty,
because like ESPN Plus right now, is about $5 a month, or $50 a year.
So I'm gonna shell out the extra $1 to $2 a month,
and that's the
get
thing
all
of
this
like,
content.
Disney Plus announced that it's going to be $6.99. Is that going to always be $6.99 for all of it, or is it going to be like, okay, $6.99 is the base, you just get Disney Plus to get ESPN? That's going to be a higher price. Like to get those extra ones, it could going to be higher?
I don't know. We have to wait till they actually come out with a plan of like what they're doing.
That's just Warner. Warner doesn't have like, and the thing is, if Warner's going to compete, because I agree with you, Netflix, not good for them. And
no, because they have Disney taken away, plus they have Warner's going to start taking away.
The thing with Netflix is if they would actually put the effort into their Netflix originals, because right now the only thing I go to Netflix for are the comedy specials. Like Ken Jeong, you've got Bert Kreischer has Netflix specials on there. Stranger Things, though, is probably, to me, one of the only Netflix originals. Like, it's that, Orange is the New Black, but those are, to me, OG Netflix series. Those were the originals of the originals, where the newer ones coming out don't have that same punch to it. And that's how Netflix is going to have to survive. Is you've got to have the Netflix originals that make people say, I got to have Netflix for this series.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to hit a lot harder on the Netflix originals. They won't, because they won't have WarnerMedia Warner Brothers Entertainment to go off of any of their movies. They won't have any sort of Disney affiliated movie whatsoever to go off of. So you have a lot of maybe Universal. Who else?
Question for you, and this is just popping in. I'm throwing it at you as I think of it. Disney Plus, WarnerMedia, any streaming service you think of. Yeah. Do you think they adopt? Let's say they have a TV series, like for example, Disney Plus, the Loki TV series.
Yes.
Which model, if you were, congratulations, you're now Bob Iger. If you're coming up with that game plan, would you choose option A or option B? Option A is Loki comes out August 18th. You get all the episodes that day. Or it's going to drop August 18th. Episode 1 will be this week. Episode 2 will be next week. And it'll basically be 1 episode a week. Same time, same day. So let's say Friday, 12 a.m., you can get it. Do the 1 episode a week, run it for 10 weeks, and then you get all of them after that 10 weeks? Or do you drop all 10 episodes one day, kind of like how Netflix does?
I prefer the Netflix style. Just drop them all.
And I'm not saying, like, you could say both as a consumer or as a business
definitely
person.
As a consumer, I prefer the drop them all. It gives me my time whenever I can to watch them, not like
that you can binge on.
I can binge them, or I can go, hey, I watched 2 episodes now and I have to wait a few days. I can watch my next 2 episodes. Whereas the one, if I miss it that week, well, now I gotta make sure I make time and go back and watch it before the next one comes out. No, I myself prefer that. Also, as a business, Disney has so much content for them, for example, that they could probably drop them all so they can work on the next thing, because they have the Loki one they're talking about doing. They have the Wanda and Vision one. They have the Falcon and Bucky one. And I think there's like one or two others they were talking about doing after that.
And for me, Disney Plus, I feel like I'd lean more towards what you said. Drop them all on the one. Because the only thing I would think of would be hey, this is the reason why I'm going to do option B, and I asked that because that's what DC Universe did. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I had to catch up with Titans. I eventually did because Dave got on my back like a monkey on my back and was like, hey, watch it, finish it. Hey, did you finish Titans? I want to talk about Titans with you. Eventually, I was like, fine, I'll finish it. It was just, and it wasn't like a fine, I'll finish it because I didn't want to. It was like a fine, I will make time to finish it. But like, for example, with Doom Patrol, I'll pull it up right now because I've got the DC Universe app on my tablet here. How many episodes of Doom Patrol did I get through before eventually it was like, I just don't have the time to do that? Is no, DC Universe, I don't want to watch the next episode of Doom Patrol. Let's see. Binge Krypton Season 1. Don't want to do that. Let's see. Doom Patrol. I ended up watching, the first two episodes. No, 4 episodes. Three episodes would be on the 4th right now. So 3 of the 15? And now they're all out. I can go and binge watch them, and it's a little bit easier to do that. But me personally, I agree with you. As the consumer, I love the binge approach because I'm the guy that I'll set up a Saturday where it's like all I'm gonna do is watch this. Yeah. Like for example, My Hero on Hulu. I just set it up to where I'm just gonna watch My Hero until they got to sub, not dub, and I was like, great. I can't focus on the subs because I'm also editing this while I'm doing it.
It's kind of hard to concentrate on something else while you're reading subs.
And I feel like the model for the once a week thing, and this is why I feel like DC did it, of like, all right, we don't want people buying it, watching it all in one day, canceling the service. We want to keep them around, keep that $8 coming in each month.
So you have to at least wait out the series.
I don't think Disney will have that problem.
No.
I don't think, and the question is WarnerMedia with their amassed stuff, are they going to have the same thing? Because HBO will be different. The HBO stuff will have to be once a week.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to put out an episode before it airs on HBO.
Exactly. That one's not going to change with HBO. I see, that's the thing. It all comes down to what the consumer is going to want, and no offense to WarnerMedia, no offense to anyone that likes it. I'm not bashing it when I say this. I think Disney's got the edge because it's all around known better. It hits more parts of the family. Yeah. Especially with everything, and it all comes down to the family or what you like. And to be honest, if I have to choose between WarnerMedia and the Disney Plus, I'm gonna hit the Disney Plus because I got it's got stuff for everyone.
Yeah. Here's a question I'm gonna ask you, and I kind of feel like we know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Should we look at DC Universe as a failed experiment?
No. It was a nice trial, and it was them just kind of going, you know what? They basically, to me, they saw what Disney was doing and say, we can package it all up in one, and then you can go to one place to get it all. Yeah. The only bad thing I'm seeing it right now is how high the price is for
you're talking the WarnerMedia price.
I'm comparing WarnerMedia price right now to Disney price right now.
I just wanted to say that so people didn't think you were talking about the $8 DC Universe.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So WarnerMedia, $16.99 a month, right?
Yeah, 16 to 17.
We'll say that's the price right now. And I'm saying right now, until we find out anything about Disney, it's $6.99 a month. And that could change because, if you want ESPN, you have to pay a little more. Oh, if you want this, you have to pay a little more. I get it. That might come out later on. But right now, it's $6.99 compared to $16.99, $17.99. Which one would you rather pay for? for your buck right now. I'd rather pay for the Disney stuff.
See, and that's the thing.
And I can't imagine it getting a lot higher for the things I'd want to add.
Yeah, and that's the thing where maybe I'm not.
That's where I'm getting the business sense now.
I'm not fully thinking maybe about the other properties that Warner Brothers may have, and there might be people out there like, hey, Warner's got these movies.
I mean, tell me the movies if I'm forgetting. I'm like just generalizing movies. I know there are movies itself, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. But what they got, the Harry Potter series, plus that's Fantastic Beasts as well.
Yep.
They have all the DC stuff.
The Godzilla movie.
The
Godzilla versus
King of Monsters
Kong
stuff coming out.
The King Kong movies would also be on there because that's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, so I mean,
all the Looney Tunes properties.
That's
would be
true,
on there.
and I mean, I'm not saying they don't have all this stuff, but I feel like, to me, it's at this point, then it comes down to the price. Because I'd rather pay $6.99 than $16.99.
Yeah,
and unless Disney's like, oh, you have to pay $2 extra for this one, and $2 extra for this one, and $7 extra for this one. I mean.
The thing I will say, and this is me, I should have
I said, none of that was me bashing WarnerMedia. This is me just thinking about it by a business sense.
I should have read this
rather
earlier.
Pay for Disney.
And this will be interesting because this could hurt Hulu and Disney as well.
Oh, of course.
Some of these shows are on Hulu. This is for WarnerMedia. The subscription service will also feature content from TNT, TBS, Adult Swim, and more. Ensuing that they have more than enough material to entice more customers. Now, the thing that I'm thinking of...
Adult Swim, huh?
Now, this is the thing I'm thinking of. I know TNT for sure, because that's Time Warner that owns that. AT&T bought that and now owns it. Now, my thought process is, if TNT, TBS, and Adult Swim, for example, Adult Swim, it's going to be on this streaming service... Does that mean it's going to be pulled off of Hulu? The TNT shows, is that going to be pulled off of Hulu? The TBS shows, pulled off of Hulu? Because why would you want them on both?
That'd be potentially, yes. Because, I mean, that would be DC going, hey, we're taking our stuff back. Hulu, that all depends if it's... that all comes down to, is it like going to be still shared by everything? And Disney's just going, hey, we made a deal with Hulu that if you buy this package... You also get access to Hulu. And then that would be like...
Because I just looked at TNT.
Or does Disney actually own Hulu?
So TNT is owned by WarnerMedia Entertainment. So I'm looking at TNT right away as it's not going to be on Hulu after the streaming service drops. TBS, also owned by WarnerMedia. So I'm saying the same thing of, hey, it's not going to be on Hulu after it, and I'm just going to pull up Cartoon Network because, damn, all right, I didn't realize that. That adds a new thing into it. Cartoon Network. They can have all those Cartoon Network properties, too.
That's true. I did forget about
Like, Two Stupid Dogs.
Oh, shit.
They could have Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls.
I mean, to some degree, that starts changing things.
That's
like
on the kids' side of, like, if the kid's into Cartoon Network... Maybe the 16, 17. That's the thing, though.
It comes down to the price at that point.
WarnerMedia is going to have a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to have enough time to watch it all? Or are you the type of person like Dave, I'm so indecisive anyways, give me more choices that I can just randomly watch whatever I want.
Yeah. It does, to me, at that point, it's just coming down again.
And Dave's probably watching this like, no, Ricky, it's the exact opposite. Give me less to choose from. I'm so indecisive.
That might be nice. It all depends on what kind of indecisive you are, honestly. Yeah. If you just go with, if you're the indecisive that just goes with what they recommend right off the bat, okay. If you're the one that's
Because lately how I've used Hulu is basically, if there's not a series I have to watch, I'll just throw something on. Like recently I threw on One Punch Man, watched season 1 of that. I've been on an anime kick recently.
Yeah, why not?
I also threw on Cowboy Bebop and been watching that kind of blast from the past 1998 anime from our childhood, the old Toonami days.
I remember.
And that to me changes it. Is that so? You know that now the Adult Swim, TBS, TNT stuff will probably be pulled off of Hulu. Is that going to entice and make the WarnerMedia stuff worth it? We can't answer that question now. It's going to be a down the road thing. Also, I'm making an executive decision here, Johnny. The Batman topic we were going to talk about, we're going to push that to another day. Because if my math is serving me correct, guess how long we've talked about Hall H and now the streaming service
Pretty
stuff.
long.
Pretty long. It's been about 42 minutes
I figured.
a conversation. So this is where I'm going to spin it on to you guys because we got a lot more stuff we got to get into.
We could keep going, but we're going to cut this off.
Dude, this could be like, we've had a conversation about the streaming stuff before.
Yeah.
We've had this one. We could have another one about all this streaming kind of
one
content.
thing I brought up to you, I'll just bring it up real quick.
Go ahead.
The only way Netflix, and I was saying it a little bit earlier, but I didn't dive into it. Netflix is only going to save itself by hitting its original series, but like by making deals with these other companies that aren't Disney and aren't Warner, and saying, "Hey, yeah, can we make an original series off of this character? Like, I don't know, Hellboy."
Yeah, like a Hellboy series. More like I think they said there's a.
Especially
I saw there's a Dungeons and Dragons series.
I heard about that too. I think it's coming out. Yeah.
Or like, for example, like to me, one of the best new series. It's not even that new because it's already in its second season or did its second season. Was like, did you ever watch F is for Family on Netflix?
Yes, that was a good one too.
Fucking love that.
Hilarious.
Basically, it's
I didn't watch the second season yet, but
basically it's Bill Burr, who's a funny comedian, wrote a show based off his childhood. The dad's based on his dad, the kids are based on him and his brothers and sisters. Hilarious. Give me more of that. Give me more series to where it's like, make me keep that Netflix subscription, because I'll be honest, if my mom and my sister were not using my Netflix, it would have been canceled by now.
Honestly, I'm like slowly down the road might go switch over if they don't start like
I gotta watch Stranger Things, but I could always find someone that has a Netflix account. Hey, can I bum your Netflix account for a day?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got a few people on mine too, but no one.
I've become more of a Hulu guy recently.
None of them really use it. The only thing I go back to Netflix for is like, hey, I'm going to be doing something while I'm got the TV on for background noise. Hey, Thor Ragnarok for the 18th time. But guess what? I
Infinity War for the millionth time.
I own that. I own both of those on Vudu.
Yeah.
So
see, that's the thing. You bring up Vudu. That don't work for me. I don't buy stuff.
It's not gonna work for you, but for me, it's like I own all those.
You actually buy like movies. I
still buy DVDs because I like to have the hard copy.
Yeah, you're an old soul. You think that the Terminators are gonna come and the cloud's gonna fail us, and I have the movies.
No, I just have shitty Wi-Fi, so it's like, hey, if I still want to watch a movie, just gotta pop it in now.
The machines are gonna turn again. I saw something on Facebook. This is off topic. Yeah. But, so it was one where it's like they're creating this robot and saying like. To make it to where, like, if it falls down, how can it get back up? And it's basically them hitting it with sticks and stuff.
Oh, I've seen that.
And people are like, the machines are going to turn on us, man. They're going to get fed up one of these days.
It's the one they made a robot that can get up from any position, right?
Yeah. And the one that can do, like, the box jump.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have it, like, they keep
weaponizing
They push them over, they trip them, and everything. And did you see it where they actually dubbed over like swear words and yelling?
No, I didn't have the audio on. It was just at the end. It had the robot had like the red eyes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Edited on.
I didn't see that part, but I saw like, one where they
machines are coming to get us, Johnny.
They took it and like they started swearing and all that fun. But yeah, back to the main topic we were talking about.
Yeah.
Netflix needs to actually work on this stuff and up their game because they have to. They're either going to make up for what they're going to lose or they're just going to lose out.
Yeah. And eventually, one of these will lose. Like, one of them will
Something's going to die out, yeah. I mean, obviously...
Technically, you could say Hulu technically did lose because they got bought out, but that was Fox in general.
They I actually looked it up. It's mostly fully controlled and majorly owned by Walt Disney.
Yeah. Because how it was Fox was a part owner. Then I believe Disney bought out Comcast. Was it Comcast that was trying? It was Comcast that was trying to get a part ownership in Hulu, but Disney did something to where they became the majority owner of Hulu.
Well, now they own it because anything that was Fox is Disney now.
Well, it was still like
Fox Entertainment.
Hulu was still owned by a couple different
Well, it's fully controlled, but it's majorly owned by Disney, so it's fully controlled by them now. So I mean, that's the thing. It's gonna come down to like either you're gonna get bought out and swept into someone else's umbrella, or you're just gonna die out. And Netflix is starting to lose the game now.
So how it was Comcast, where basically how it works is Walt Disney has set 67% of the equity. They are in full control. Comcast has 33% of the equity, and they are a silent partner. That was the second thing that Disney had to do to get full control of Hulu, because that was important. They needed full control of it. Because that's one of the reasons why they went ahead and did the Fox deal. It wasn't for the Marvel stuff. It was for the extra catalog, because they were coming up with the streaming stuff, and because of Hulu. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section about this really long topic. Hall H, streaming wars, WarnerMedia. Let us know it's everything.
Anything and everything you're talking about. Stuff we forgot to bring up in there.
There probably is stuff that we forgot to bring up.
Probably already said it before we even got to this part of the segment.